time to call your lawyer.
Indeed it is. So we get Bruce L. Scheiner on the phone, our friend and attorney for the injured, and we see if maybe there's a question he can answer that'll help you out. If you submitted a question recently, that's great. Maybe today's the lucky day. If not, we'll tell you how to submit one. But first, let's see what today's question holds for us. I have to say, too, the really cool thing about this is the number of times somebody says to me, I've never had a legal problem in my life. I would never submit a question because everything's fine. But I learned so much from that guy, Bruce L. Scheiner. I'm really thrilled that that's something you take away from this segment each and every week. So let's get down to business. Now, please understand that the legal opinions expressed in these segments should not be taken as specific legal advice in anything going on in your world. If you've been injured, you're strongly encouraged to talk with an attorney before signing anything or making any statements. You know, many attorneys offer a free consultation, which Bruce L. Scheiner does, so take advantage of that. So don't sign anything. Don't say anything. Don't let anybody record conversations. That we can tell you for sure. And then for the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say, sit down in front of an attorney, a professional, somebody like Bruce L. Scheiner, and get the straight scoop. Let's see what Bruce thinks about today's legal brain teaser. Please make welcome attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How's it going this morning?
Great. Just enjoying some slightly nicer, cooler weather. I know that you like it nice and warm, though, so how are you?
Well, I like it cool in Florida. I don't like it cold in the northern states, but cool in Florida is great.
I remember one time I think you were going to Michigan, I want to say.
I was.
And it was in the middle of winter and you were dreading it.
Yeah, it gets too cold up there.
Yeah, sure. Well, in spite of that, and in addition to the nice weather that we're having here, there are some people who aren't faring so well, and oftentimes they will write us a little note and say, hey, ask Bruce, or somebody will come up to me and say, ask Bruce about my situation. So if you don't mind, I've got another one of those for you today.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, here's what it says. My girlfriend's mother, who was visiting from out of state, pulled up behind a motorcycle at a stoplight. Then, out of the blue, she was struck by a drunk driver, which caused her car to hit the motorcycle ahead of her. She sustained brain damage, and the motorcycle driver was injured as well. The drunk driver had no insurance. Fortunately, my girlfriend's mother had full coverage, including something called an umbrella policy. Will her insurance cover her? And what does an umbrella policy mean? It's one of those terms we hear a lot, but most of us don't know about. So, Bruce, take it away.
Okay, well, full coverage is a deceiving word, and we never really know what that means until you look at the declaration page. The key to this whole case is our old friend uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
Some umbrella policies become an umbrella over and above the uninsured motorist policy, and some don't.
Okay.
To back up for a second, an umbrella policy that kicks in after your normal coverage is exhausted.
Okay.
And it usually requires you to have a certain minimum limit. So sometimes it will kick in if you had 100 and 300,000 of bodily injury limits and 100, 300 uninsured motorists. The umbrella policy would come to play over and above those coverages.
I see.
And most umbrella coverages start at $1 million. You can have $1 million umbrella or any amount over $1 million, but $1 million's the most common.
Okay.
So if the umbrella policy kicked in on the uninsured motorist coverage, they would have over $1 million of coverage to claim against, and she would be able to obtain restitution for her significant injuries.
Which it sounds like she has. What about her responsibility to the motorcycle in front of her? Even though it wasn't her fault, it was her vehicle that collided with the motorcycle. Does that mean anything?
Well, it's an interesting case because we represented a client with very similar fact pattern, and for some unknown reason, in our case, the motorcyclist had sued our client, and jury returned nothing to the motorcyclist because our client did nothing wrong. She was stopped in the road when this drunk driver hit her so hard that they propelled her into the motorcyclist.
Interesting. So what, not that you necessarily I shouldn't ask you two questions at once is what I was saying. Not that you should necessarily be able to represent two people at once, but what would you say about the motorcycle driver? Where does he get his compensation from?
Well, he's in that same boat. If he has uninsured motorist coverage, he's able to make a recovery, but if he doesn't, then he'll be out of luck.
Oh, wow. What a complicated situation, and it's also devastating to hear the mother is suffering brain damage out of the accident. And even more disturbing, of course, is that it was a drunk driver to start out with.
And that just goes to show you it's so important. Contact a personal injury lawyer. Everyone or each personal injury lawyer I know doesn't charge for the initial consultation. So you could call, make an appointment, sit down, go over the facts of your case. If the lawyer could help you, you're ahead of the game,
right,
because you no charge for the initial consultation. And they'll handle it on a contingent fee basis, which means they don't have to pay any money to the lawyer unless the lawyer is successful and makes a recovery for him.
It makes life a lot easier to have a professional in your corner. So whenever I'm asked that question, what should I do? I always say the same thing. I always make the referral. You need to talk to somebody. So thank you for that advice. And it sounds like there may be the necessary insurance there to help out, but probably an attorney's going to have to get involved here.
That's correct.
All right, Bruce. Well, thank you again. Appreciate your time and the explanation, the little bit of a lesson we get out of it as well. And I look forward to talking to you again next week.
I'm looking forward to Turkey Day coming up soon.
Oh, yes. Well, save me the drumstick now.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to it, too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up, please, for Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, and Ask the Lawyer at Kicks Country 92.9. Now, if you've got a question you'd like to submit, simply go to our website, kickscountry929.com. Look for BLS Bruce L. Scheiner on the homepage. And in the meantime, if you'd like some immediate answers, you might want to call this number. Call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner at 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. And tell them that Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.